Podcasting Network. In the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod. As always, it is a beautiful night to live stream about some WWE. And what better positive way to start it than with an old man take, Chris?
So, I may not be a fan of this wrestler, but I have to recognize the pop this gentleman receives every time he comes out, all right? Even though I may be no yeet, I have to give Jay some credit for the amount of excitement he does bring to the WWE. That being said, I don't know what to think about what they're doing with his storyline. Is he going to continue his own way? Is he coming back to the bloodline? Is it them not knowing what they're going to do yet? Like, I don't understand why we're pulling him in these very obvious different directions.
I love that, Chris. You don't like a guy, which is something you don't even care about people you don't like usually. So I appreciate you bringing them up. Rod, I think it's pretty obvious where they're going with the Jey Uso thing. Definitely not going to be joining the bloodline. Roman Reigns doesn't want him in, right?
Yeah, no, we're certainly not headed towards that at all. He certainly wouldn't be an easy number 3 to make 3 against a possible 4 on the sign of the new bloodline, the vicious takeover. But The Rock coming down to the ring and doing his 1, 2, 3, all of you are dead, Jimmy, which you translated for all of the people out there. That's why they should come to this podcast.
Yes.
All right, for their wrestling takes, because Jimmy knows that kind of stuff. Every once in a while, I pull it out of him and I make him drop the nuggets on everybody. So I think that we're definitely going there. But where I am worried about is, what does that mean for the Intercontinental Championship, right? Are we just going to get Jey Uso turning it over to somebody here in a couple of weeks because they have to get him going to the bloodline thing? I don't know. I worry about where the Intercontinental Championship is in all of this, but I'm for the bloodline coming back together. I'm going to get all the feels, right? I'm gonna get the, as The Rock likes to talk about, the goosebumps, because I enjoyed the bloodline more than you two gentlemen. So when I saw Jimmy Uso sitting there in Jay's room, my heart fluttered a little bit for a second, and then when Jay turned around and ran out, I was like, "Dang it!" But I was like,
"Do you think this cheapens this Intercontinental belt a little bit, though, Rod? The fact that we care more, or especially you care more about him and the bloodline than him and the belt? I mean, Gunther made this. I was like, Gunther made this thing mean something, and then it's changed hands real quick. And if we have a storyline where we care more about a part that doesn't involve the belt versus one with the belt, it seems like it cheapens that belt.
We hasn't lost it yet, would be my answer. But if he does lose it in a couple of weeks, then I'll get back to you, I think, because I see what you're getting at.
It's a part of the storyline, though, because it's his first singles championship. He earned it. Listen, say what you will, Chris. I know you've said a lot. People love him. They're going to love the fact that he's going to get screwed over by the bloodline for that Intercontinental Championship, probably to Braun Breaker. Might be a member of the bloodline, although I'm pretty sure it'll be Braun Breaker that's going to win that, and then he'll go off on his own. But that's going to just continue to feed in the story. And Chris, the reason why they're doing all these different angles right now is because it is not November. It is not Survivor Series yet. We have a few weeks to go before that happens. So we've got to take it one step at a time. We also have a very big show in Saudi Arabia that we could see a championship change hands for sure. So that's kind of the reason why we're going in all these directions, Chris. That will be a part of it, though. It will be a big part of it, too.
Jimmy, let me raise you this. What if we get a Jacob Fatu all of a sudden wearing the Intercontinental Championship belt around his waist, right? What do you think that does for the storyline? That literally just popped in my head.
No, I thought about that, too, but I think we want, as Chris said, we want to kind of get that Intercontinental Championship away because we already have the storyline built in. So we can have Jey Uso lose to someone else very, very easily, a Karrion Kross, if you will. It could. Who knows, right?
Karrion Kross could easily fight Braun Breaker if you are correct that Breaker's who they're going to put the belt back on.
Yeah, something like that. Listen, Karrion Kross, they were back. Let's go. Final Testament, Final Judgment Testament. I don't even care what they're called. Let's go. But anyway, we want to get that out because that's another story to tell. So we can have the Bloodline storyline without that Intercontinental title.
I think that's definitely true, right? I talk about so often about how there's certain things where you don't need the belt. And here I am talking about how I want to try to intertwine the belt in my bloodline story. So, but I worry about who else are going to be possible contenders out there in that Intercontinental belt if it's separate from the bloodline, because, so many people get wrapped up in a war game story, Jim, because we got, so many people have to be involved just to fight the match.
Well, you're assuming it's got to be Sami Zayn. They just got to bring it up. They got to run it back. Run it old school, OTB, original, whatever it is, and the new bloodline. I think they just need to run it back. So now we have Jey Uso coming in a couple weeks to make the 3. Everything's great, and then they're getting beat down. Bam! Sammy's music hits. He runs down.
Yep.
4-on-4. Let's go, Chris King.
I'd enjoy Sami Zayn if he got back in the bloodline. I will say that.
Okay. That's what
Look at that. We got him to say something almost good about Sami Zayn, Jimmy. You are an expert podcast host there, man, because usually Chris is quick to trash our boy.
Every now and then it works. I don't know how, but it worked. So you did mention the Intercontinental Championship. Let's go to our U.S. champion, who I'm going to take a mea culpa here. I am sorry. It was a joke for about 3 episodes when I didn't mention
right.
LA Knight on purpose just to piss Chris off. But then we actually still haven't talked about LA Knight very much in his title reign. So I do understand that is kind of anti our show, because we are the original LA Knight crew here. We love
like if there's a train car, right, and that train cars has now gotten to be like 14 or 15 cars long, we're easily on like the first or second car, maybe even the front.
I think we may be the conductors here, Chris. You're used to riding locomotives and some people being thrown in there. How excited have you been for the LA Knight title reign here? He's had a few decent matches here.
Listen, I am up here shoveling the coal, keeping this locomotive moving, all right? I am in the engine, all right? Not a car. I'm leading this thing. Let's keep it going. What a great BFT. And let me ask you this, Jimmy, because I know you're like an encyclopedia.
Oh, God.
Has anybody ever successfully kicked out of a successfully landed BFT?
I'm assuming Roman Reigns did when they wrestled. There had to be a BFT in there. That's
probably right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it is a pretty sweet move.
And he's getting better and better in the ring.
I'll give it up to him.
But they're putting him with people that can wrestle. Andrade, for sure, is going to be. He's going to win. They have the best of 7 going on. He'll probably win that, so they'll get another shot at it. I do love the fact that everyone, Carmelo is as well. Everyone who loses to LA Knight just gets another match later on, but everyone else has to earn it. It's a whole thing. It's one of those wrestling things, Chris, that you just kind of go with it. And they couldn't tell you it was a best of 7 between the two, because then that's going to go all 7, because why would you do anything else? There is a very famous Booker T and He Who Shall Not Be Named best of 7 in WCW.
Somebody who did it, flying headbutt, perhaps.
Killed his family. Anything. Very famous one that kind of elevated both of those guys as well. So,
well, I mean, Rod's right about Andrade. Just keeps raising the bar for what we expect in the ring, right?
I love me some Andrade, dude. He's like the unsung hero right now. Like, that guy just like has the ability to just like pull it out of people, right? And like what normally happens in an Andrade match is people don't show too much love to him as soon as he hits, right? Not a big pop for Andrade as soon as he comes out, right? And then he makes it into the ring. People begrudgingly kind of give it up for him a little bit more. But then as the match goes on, people are like, damn it, Andrade, you got me again. And that's what's awesome about Andrade's work, I think. He's really good that way. So putting LA Knight in with him is great, because as much as I was watching Chris shovel the coal, and Jimmy, you had the sweet conductor hat on and you were pulling the whistle, right? I was the guy back at the bar car kind of just yelling at you and saying that you were doing things wrong because it was easy to complain. That was me talking about LA Knight being not great technically, right? But now I've decided, you know what? I'm not going to be the jerk at the bar car who's just pointing out everything that's going wrong. I'm going to sit back here and I'm going to be a fan, and I'm going to appreciate what the guy from Hagerstown, Maryland, now by way of Hollywood, LA Knight, brings to us as the United States champion.
Of course, we do love us some LA Knight for sure. Somebody else. Listen, I'm kind of living in a dream world right now. We've got a lot of stuff going on.
As opposed to, I mean, like every other day, Jim. I mean, how's this different than most dream worlds you live in?
It's a lot darker, Rod. It's a lot darker, but that's another podcast though.
That's different.
That's
you got to pay. That's the
hours.
Patreon. You got to pay for that one.
Yeah, you got to pay extra for the Jimmy's dark side, if you will. Kevin Owens, let's go. Listen, Kevin Owens has always been that person you can put in any situation. He will do fantastic because he is a professional wrestler. He goes in, he does what he needs to do, and this new gimmick that he has, he's got to get a belt. He's got to go for it all, Rod. And I'm a little nervous, and I'll go to Chris because you just took a drink. Chris, I'm a little nervous. They're going to continue to do Mountain Dew. We'll take it. PepsiCo, we'll take the sponsorship.
Holler.
Dr. Pepper Zero, gotta love it. Go Cubs, by the way. You know, they got a great series. Chris, I'm worried they're just going to do the same thing they always do with Kevin Owens. Have a great build up, awesome matches, lose in the end.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he is. It's funny you mentioned the Cubs. He is the lovable loser, right, of the WWE. I mean, he puts on a great show, but he's not going to win anything. Like, we were all kind of surprised that they gave him the tag titles for a little bit, a couple times. So, like, I'm afraid that's going to happen, and unless they're able to turn someone like me to believe he is a full-on heel. But
do you believe in anybody else besides Kevin Owens? Chris, do you believe in anyone specific? No? Rod, am I just being like that the dark side of Jimmy here? Am I just worried too much? Are they going to really go all the way with Kevin Owens here?
No, you know what it is, Jim? It's the dark side, but it's not because you worry too much. It's because you've seen too much, right? Like, like you know how like you can just be exposed to something too much, and then like guys who got to work the night shift, right? Dudes can only work in the coroner's office for so long.
Asbestos, or I mean,
yeah, exactly, right? Like just guys like, yeah, I can only be a gravedigger for so long, and then it starts to get to me, and then I got to move on to it. You know what I mean? So like, you've just seen too many things, Jim. You've seen the Kevin Owens turn against Sami Zayn. You've seen Kevin Owens turn against Chris Jericho. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on of who Kevin Owens has turned against, right? That's kind of been the thing that he does. The prize fighter, all of it. What I love is how they are selling the story right now, right? I love watching Kevin Owens do the video that gets released on social media, clearly from a hotel room, right? Where he's able to act as if he is absolutely frustrated that WWE won't let him say anything, even though we all know that WWE is telling him to say that thing exactly. And like, I absolutely love it, right? And then I think to myself, how many people out there are seeing this and then going, but maybe, because there's been a few times where they've almost gotten me. So like, I just love it when we play with the realism and kayfabe and all of that. And Jimmy, I've focused in so much on what you said. And once again, I will point out to the listeners, Jimmy brings golden nuggets. The only way Kevin Owens gets to get over as a bad guy is this way, because of what Chris just said. Even though it's happening like this right now, he's still not buying him as a bad guy. The only way he's got a chance is through this way, and it's brilliant.
Well, of course it is. And I think that he will continue to do so because he is brilliant. He is amazing. And he is the best wrestler in the WWE right now. Now, I do love the fact that it's coming from a truth standpoint. Chris, you love truth. You love people coming out. You love bad guys coming out like Drew McIntyre for the past year. You've loved him being a bad guy, being a heel, if you will. He's mad at Cody and Randy because they're like, oh, yeah, come on back, Roman. Doesn't really matter. Bloodline, don't even remember what bad things happened. Kevin Owens remembers. He never forgets, and he will probably lose to Cody and Randy. He'll beat Randy. I don't think he'll beat Cody, though, Chris.
Hey, listen, he's not speaking anything untruthful, right? We all agreed that Drew was speaking the truth. We are agreeing now that KO is speaking the truth, all right?
Did we
Yes, I'm sure we did. They can go back and listen, all right? People can go back and download those past episodes, all right? We agreed that at no point in time did these gentlemen produce or say any kind of untruthful statements, all right? These are facts. And yeah, I think it's a little bit odd that Cody teamed up with Roman real quick just because he's having a problem with Solo. All right. I get the enemy of my enemy is my friend, but like, I mean, come on. How long did Roman keep Cody from finishing his story there, Jimmy? Like, how long? And now all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I'll shake your hand.
Yeah.
I'll tag you in.
I'll go to a
I'll
stadium
back
with
you
Ring
up.
Talk. I'll stare at you in the ring.
Yeah, I got your back.
I don't want to live in this world. Listen, let me just jump in here right now. I don't want to live in this world where everybody that's employed on the WWE roster remembers everything that happens, okay? Because if everybody employed on the WWE roster remembers everything that ever happens in a storyline, my guy Seth Rollins is in trouble, all right? Because he has done some dastardly things to a whole bunch of dudes, all right? And we're going to get past that, right? Every day is a new day. It's a little bit like that movie Memento. Shout out to my guy Pierce. All right, you wake up every day, clean slate. We're just moving on. Put
Tattoo
something in front of
yourself.
me,
Let's go.
and we're soldiering forward. Right? What am I supposed to do today? I'm fighting AJ Styles. Cool. Let's go. I'm fighting AJ Styles. Who am I fighting tomorrow? The Miz. Let's go. We're moving on. Right? We don't want to think about what we did in the past. We're moving on, Chris. You talk so often that you want to just move on, and we need to just keep stretching
We
forward and have
talk
story.
so much about the drama and the storytelling of the WWE. All right, this is Americana right now. The rise and the fall. The rise and the fall. Right. You want to see somebody that's at the top of their game, a la a Cody Rhodes. Before that, a Roman Reigns fall, get taken off their mountaintop. Right. We want to see an underdog like a Drew McIntyre or an LA Knight rise up. All right. So, like, yes. We want to see Seth overcome demons and become almost a babyface like he has recently versus what he was when apparently he backstabbed the Shield. And then he'll be brought back up, and then we will start to root.
Backstab the Shield. Apparently, you just said.
Chris has this new strategy where he just keeps talking.
Destroyed Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose had a heart attack. Apparently.
Chris just has this
I
new
don't
strategy.
think he really meant that. Well, I'm going to read you the quote. I didn't really mean that. Exactly the same thing, Chris.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Chris has this new strategy where he just throws in some half truths and things that we can't dispute, and he just keeps talking. And then it's like three sentences.
Says we're gonna gloss over the fact that apparently, Chris.
I mean, I wasn't watching the WWE at that point in time, so it's hard for me.
No way for you to look. I understand. No way for you to figure out what happened in the past. There is no 2-hour-long documentary. There is, it would get the internet connection, and I understand that you only have it for an hour a week, and this is it. And I appreciate you using it for this, but
shout out to Doris working hard out there in the barn, turning the wheel that gets the power, that gets the internet going once a week, so we can fire up this podcast. What are we going to do tomorrow night? We're supposed to do football tomorrow night. We got to cut this off. We got to split this into 2 nights.
Yeah, no, Chris can't do 2 nights. It's only one, baby. Chris can't do 2. All right. Speaking of huge mountains, let's talk about Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia.
I like it. Listen, I don't think there's mountains there, but I like it.
They're big sand,
big buildings. The Burj Khalifa. That's over there, isn't it?
Okay, sure.
Mountainous dunes.
We have the undisputed galactic.
We have mountainous dudes. Oh, how about that? Mountainous dudes are going to where there's mountainous dunes. WWE Crown Jewel. They should put that on a poster.
Well, I know what our TikTok will be this week, so that'll be good. All right, we have Saudi Arabia. And usually Saudi Arabia means nothing, but there's also something big with it. We have 109 real diamonds on a belt that either Gunther or Cody Rhodes will get. Chris King, you're relatively new. You've been around for a couple of Crown Jewelses. What questions do you have about the biannual event in Saudi Arabia that WWE gets paid about $100 million for?
So will this galactic diamond belt or whatever it may be, is this something that will be just specific to the biannual Crown Jewel event where the 2 currently world champions, belt holding world champions, would fight for this belt and then they can claim they're that champion for the next 2 years?
So I think we need to put something in context first. Remember, this is WWE and anything can change at any time. Okay. So not as much as it did in the past, but it can change at any time. So to answer your question, in this moment in time, yes, it will be a championship in quotes only. It's kind of more like a trophy. It's just in belt form. Okay.
So
Trophy.
so
A
I'm
trophy, you say?
that's what I was envisioning, like the Super Cup that gets played in European soccer. I know this is going to drive
Or-
Rod
maybe
mad.
the Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy, perhaps, Chris? Let me ask
Very
you a couple of
similar,
questions.
and the winner of this will also get pushed just like all of the other winners have of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, who I think there's only 2 that are still employed in the WWE. Maybe.
Jimmy, if you'll allow me here, I will go all JD Vance on Chris here, and I will answer his question with a question. All right, Chris, when was the last time you saw Gunther wear his crown that he won the last time the WWE was in Saudi Arabia?
I mean, I don't know if you want as a company to have a Eastern European wear a crown on TV necessarily.
Well, they did it when he was in Saudi Arabia. And then when was the last time you saw him wear that crown?
I mean, okay, well, we haven't
All
seen
right.
him wear that crown.
First
You
of
know
all-
The
that.
answer is the Raw. The answer is the Raw.
No,
after
the answer
previous
was I'm
live
not here to
event.
talk about the past. That was the answer, and you missed it.
Kudos, Jimmy. That's why you're the ace producer. That is why you're the ace producer. And Chris, let me also
Chris, I
ask you,
can't write this stuff for you.
who was the Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner last year or this year, this current calendar year before WrestleMania? Do any of you know? Because I'll tell you right now, I don't know. But do either of you know?
There wasn't a Andre the Giant battle or Memorial Battle Royale this year. It was a different wrestlers Battle Royale, I believe.
No, it was.
I know there was an Andre the Giant. It wasn't on WrestleMania though.
Then it was wasn't it Braun Strowman?
No, he's won
No,
it
Braun
before.
Strowman won in 2019 though, so congratulations on that. Still employed in the WWE. Let's go over the winners real quick because I think it's interesting to look,
Yes,
and then
it
we'll
is.
talk about this year's winner. The inaugural winner was Cesaro, who in 2014 he then became a Paul Heyman guy for about 2 weeks, and then Vince McMahon didn't like his accent and threw him out.
I miss Cesaro though. He was all right.
Cesaro, AEW. Big Show is kind of retired in AEW ish, I think. Baron Corbin won, still in the WWE.
Shout out, my guy.
Yeah, that was his
Long
debut on
hair.
the main roster was in the Memorial Battle Royal, which is kind of cool.
He had long hair
Mojo-
then too. Wore
Yeah,
a lot
he
of
did.
black leather. It was like he was like a guitar guy. It
Saw
was
the chest
wild.
hat, all that good stuff. Mojo Rawley won mostly because Rob Gronkowski was his best friend. Okay, because
I have no idea who that guy is.
Yeah, I was on a plane with him once. Very big guy. Matt Hardy won in 2018. Not in WWE anymore.
Not in 1998. He won in 2018. Not
2018.
1998.
Yes. Could have been either one, actually.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman in 2019. Jay Uso in 2021.
Yeet.
That was pre-Yeet. That was definitely pre-Yeet.
That was right hand man. That was right hand man days.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? That's hilarious. I forgot about that.
Oh no.
2022, Madcap Moss won the Andre
I
the Giant
definitely did
Memorial
not forget
Battle
about that. I always talk about luminaries such as Madcap Moss and Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin.
Royal. 2023, obviously, we know who this is. Your favorite wrestler, Rod, who's going to debut in AEW this week.
Was it
Bobby
Ricochet?
Lashley.
Bobby Lashley. won
Oh,
in
that's right,
2023.
Robert Lashley. One of the biggest honors the WWE could ever bestow on Bob Lashley, other than when they finally did give him the belt, was the Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy.
And if we would have read this 3 years ago and said the winner of 2024, we'd all be like, well, that list is crazy. That list all belongs together. Bronson Reed won in 2024. So that does kind of make a little sense for now. And they've actually kind of pushed him as much as they have really anybody else who's won. But yeah, so Chris, 10 minutes later, we'll get back to your answer is they will not be right now. It's an annual event where they will do this belt. It'll be this time every year where it will be both champions fighting against each other. Whoever wins just gets the belt for the night. You will never see the belt again.
Might even stay in Saudi Arabia. Like they'll have it in some case for people to like look at. You know,
I think they might have a museum there.
yeah.
it might
Oh
be.
yeah, the sheets.
Do you see Braun Strowman wearing his Greatest Royal Rumble championship belt, Chris? Okay, so yeah. They have that. So that's what that is.
That's his
you
fault,
know
though.
how
I
it is?
would.
Do you know what the greatest Royal Rumble is, Chris?
No, I don't know. I don't think I can venture to say
So,
what's the
okay,
best Royal
okay,
Rumble.
so that is and I love that you're here, Chris, because we can inform people as well who have just started. The greatest Royal Rumble is actually the name of the show in Saudi
Yep.
Arabia that they had,
Yep.
where they had another Royal Rumble, but this time it was 50.
Yep. 50.
It was 50 people in the greatest Royal Rumble. So they had a second one. They had one in January, then they had one again in actually I think it was the summer. It might have been like I can't remember. But they had a 50-person Royal Rumble again. So we were all about it. Wonderful, great, and then just Braun Strowman just randomly won.
Yeah. People were way excited.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Daniel Bryan was in it, got thrown out pretty quick.
Who was hot at the time, Chris? Everybody wanted Daniel Bryan at the time. It was hot. It was
Yes.
definite right the Yes Movement era.
Yeah. So what else, Chris? What other questions you have about Saudi Arabia?
Okay, and I have to assume that's also the same with the women's side as well.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. Okay. All right.
Unless Nia Jax actually still has the belt and wins. Nia Jax is the type of heel that might still parade that thing around just to get people to boo her. So
She might actually do that. You're right. Or Tiffy Time if she can Tiffy Time cash in on the wrong belt. That'd be kind of funny.
Oh, see, Jimmy, now you're onto something. Can
So
Tiffy cash in
on that.
on Nia anywhere backstage and then actually compete in that match and then win the belt? Oh, that would work.
No,
Jim.
I'm
Look at
saying
what you just did.
cash in on the green belt. Cash in on that so she can only wear it in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, there you go.
Or right after, yeah. So I get you. That's great. Like if she thinks she's cashing in and they give her that belt because
Another
she cashes in, because she almost forgot to cash in the belt, try to cash in on Monday Night Raw, right? I thought that was a great gag.
Yeah, what was up with that? Why did who came in and stopped it? Why did they care? I didn't understand that.
Wasn't it?
Dom pulled Liv out of the ring before
Yeah.
Tiffy could cash in.
Oh, that's what it
Yeah,
was. But there
Dom
was
did,
somebody
'cause
stopped
Dom was-
somebody from something on Raw, and I was like, that was weird. Now I can't remember who it was. Maybe I can remember. You're right, though. Dom pulled her out of the ring and then was having trouble trying to carry her back. And then that was all over Twitter where people were like, whoa, Dom was struggling a little bit trying to carry Liv that far.
Well,
Dom's a genius.
Dom needs to get in the gym. Maybe he's had a tough couple of weeks.
Let him out of a shark cage. Maybe he could lift some weights.
I tell you. Chris, so yeah, Saudi Arabia, WWE gets paid a lot of money to go over there, a lot of money. So that's why they do it.
More belts are changing hands, though, Jim, because you used to talk about
Yeah.
all the time how
Oh yeah, it
nothing
used
really
to be
happened.
nothing, but now more belts are changing hands. They want that to happen. There will be a new green champion this year or this as well. So pretty exciting.
The outfits too. They finally figured out the outfits for the women to wear that are a little bit better than the pajamas that they used to wear like 3 and 4
Pajamas
years
are
ago.
just all black. They
Yeah.
can do a little bit more there.
They're kind of doing more like the full leather suits, kind of. You know what I mean? That resembled closer to the ring
And they
gear
have like their
normally wear.
colors and everything like that. Yeah, it's kind of like a uniform, if you will.
Yeah. It's better. I mean, we all wish that Saudi Arabia didn't have these rules, and we all wish the WWE didn't go to Saudi Arabia for these pay-per-views, but it just is what it is, and if they're going to continue the storylines that we follow, then we have to talk about it. But we always make sure to mention we would rather the WWE not be in business with them. At least I would. That's what I feel.
Chris, anything else?
No, I think we still don't know all the matches besides those two that are set up, right? Those are
I
only
think
two
we'll-
matches
I-
right
I
now
think
that
we'll
are.
have an Intercontinental Championship match for sure. I think we'll have a U.S. Championship. Well, I don't know if we'll have a U.S. Championship or not. Maybe
We're
we'll-
definitely not going to have a tag team championship match. They haven't had one of those on a PLE in a long time. They keep just sticking that on the SmackDown before the PLE.
Yeah, they need to work on that a little bit as well. But
Does anybody care? Does anybody care that JD McDonough has been the tag team champion for like months at this point and has barely even fought? Like, does anybody
No.
care? I mean, I guess Adam Pearce cares now, Jimmy, and we got to see your boys back. I can't believe we were maybe going to end this pod before you got to mention your boys back, doing the other thing you love, changing their name back to what people love from the indie days.
let's go. So it's not War Machine, but War Raiders are back. Yes, for sure. Very excited to see them. We talked about that, haven't we?
No, that'd be cool, man. Put the belts on those guys right now. Honestly, I think like that's a
need
shot
to.
in the arm. That's a shot in
They
the arm
need
for
to.
them and the tag team division. Just do it.
And then have them be that dominant force, move through it. If you really want to get them over, go. If not, hey, Natural Disasters 2.0 might be coming back, Rod. What do you think? Otis, Bronson Reed, let's do this.
Chris, do you? I mean, you know the old school days. You know who we're talking natural disasters. Yeah, Bronson Reed has floated that if this thing with Seth Rollins and trying to be, on a solo guy doesn't work out, he's just going to team up with Otis and make the Natural Disasters 2.0. And I am incredibly excited about the opportunity that this may happen. How about you?
Yes. What could that be? Like almost
Earthquake and Typhoon before,
700 pounds of pure mass landing on the ring at the same time. Like, I mean, the WWE is going to have to buy a lot more ring repairmen. That's for sure.
So we had Earthquake and Typhoon last time. So Bronson Reed's got the Tsunami. So what are we, Jimmy? What's Otis going to be? Like it's like the landslide or something because of the way he does the worm. Like I don't know, Jim. Help me out here.
Sinkhole? I don't know. Wow. Yeah, hurricane, tornado. He'd just be the tornado.
But then we have the Texas tornado. Wasn't that a wrestler once back in the day?
Tornado.
Meteor, asteroid.
Why is he from space? What are we doing?
It's a natural disaster.
Yeah, it's natural, not outer space. So.
Cosmic? Isn't
That's-
that cosmic? Isn't that a cosmic disaster? Is that
I'm
a thing?
pretty sure nature
I like
does
outer
exist
space, though.
outside of
No,
Earth.
There is no nature outside of Earth. We are one
like it's
entity.
black. When it's black, it's automatically not nature. Didn't you know that was a rule? That's not nature once it's black behind it. It has to be blue sky. That's nature. Or green trees. Or dirt. Or blue ocean. That's nature, Chris, not black skies.
And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Knows podcast network. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate you listening. I don't know what we're doing anymore. This is so much fun. Rod, Chris, thanks a lot.
Hey, listen, we are excited. And listen, you got to stretch a little bit, right? When you don't have a PLE to make, picks on, and when you don't have any 100% storylines to sink your teeth into other than the Kevin Owens story, you stretch and you find yourself discussing what is and what is not nature. Till next time.
Goodbye, net. Yeah.
Has to have a blue sky. Remember that.
That's what I'm saying.
Apparently, only color.
I'm going to my grave with that.